Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Optimal Life Balance with Coach Vicki, where you take charge of your life, both personally and business, and have fun along the way. Last week, this is another episode of part of UBU. Last episode, we went into where you are, what limited beliefs you've had, what are those picket fences that have been holding you back, and identifying what each one was and giving them each picket of the fence a name and starting to envision where we want to go with it, but then also realizing that we have to learn to love ourselves for who we are right now and not let our past dictate who we are going to be anymore in the future, but instead let it be a foundation of where we're going to go. We went over a little bit about the elephant story, about how when a baby elephant is being trained, that it's tied to that fence or that post, thinking it could only go so far as it grew, and not realizing when it got big and strong, it could break free. It could break free, but it's been believing something else so many years in its life, it doesn't even try. And so we're thinking that's relating to how we are in our lives, that we believe something so long of usually how we grew up with, of what we were told, and all of that. We went into a lot of this in the last episode. If you did not see, please go back and look at it. But we want to now start thinking, okay, where do we want to go? Because those are just thoughts that we've had, though they have been real and they've been true to who we've been. That doesn't need to be who we are anymore. And if we are ready to take charge of our lives and realize that we can enjoy our lives, but we need to start learning to build new habits, new mindsets, new skills that will help us continue going through it. So we want to, though, figure out now, where do we want to go? We kind of realized where we're stuck at. Now we want to know where we're at, stuck in the past. We want to figure out where we are on that thing else, because this past has brought us, but we've hopefully have changed some, as well as where we want to go. So we are where we are right now in our lives, and it may be good, it may be bad. You may like some of your part of your lives and not other part of your lives. You may having fitness and health problems. You may be having financial problems, or family, or your career, or just friends and your faith, whatever it may be on it. But what we want to start doing is realizing where we are in those areas of our lives and what area we need to start working on. Yes, we'd love to make them all perfect and balanced and all going great, but realistically, we need to kind of just take it piece by piece on it. So we want to really start thinking in those 7 key areas of life of fitness, finance, family, field, which is your career, faith, friends, and fun. What area do we need to really start working on there? What area of ourselves do we need to work on to start moving forward and breaking and knocking down each one of those fence posts, so that we can see that there is a greener pasture on the other side? And what is that greener pasture? So we need to kind of get, we were talking about it last episode also, is we want to start really planning where we want to go on that, and then we're going to figure out how to get there. But we want to see, where do you think you should have been in your life by this point of your life? By this mile marker of your age, of how old you are, if it's 20, if it's 40, if it's 50, if it's 60, whatever it may be, where did you possibly see where you should be, or where would you have liked to been by this age of your life for it? And how far off are you? Are you really off, or are you just maybe a few steps off on there? And based on how far off you are to what you think you want it to be, but then you maybe to realize, is that really who I still want to be? Or is that what I was told I wanted to be, or what I should do, or what I should think, or how I should think for it? So when we were working on before of how to really start thinking of who you are for yourself, we want to start thinking for ourselves on who do we really want to be. If you're not sure, you need to maybe work with a coach And I'd love to be part of that journey with you. But if not me, find somebody who you feel comfortable with into it. Now, sometimes we don't want to go to somebody who really knows us of a true friend or family member, unless you can get somebody who's open with you, because they will perceive your past and that's who they know and that's all they're going to know. So when you're trying to move forward, they're not going to see your growth. They don't want you to grow because they like you in that position that you're in. So that's why sometimes it's nice to step out of that circle of people and finding a spiritual mentor through your church if you need to, finding a coach who can work with you, who is open and objective to wanting to see you grow for it, and is not stuck on who you are. All we are is who you want to be for it. And start really concentrating on what is the next step of what you want to be, taking control of those steps daily for it, but then making sure while you're working on whatever area of your life it is, if it's your fitness, that when you're getting healthy and wanting to start eat different and be different, that you stand up for what you believe in on it. Now, if somebody says, oh, you said you're on this health journey, you're trying to lose some weight and you're at a birthday party, says, oh, a piece of cake, it won't hurt you, one little piece. You take control of that and say, yes, it will, or no, it won't. It's not to be pressured because they said, if you want that piece of cake and you feel comfortable with eating it, that is your choice. But if you decide that is not on my journey right now of health, and that's not what I should be doing, you stand those grounds also. And don't let what other people say to you and say, thank you for that, but I'm really okay. I do not want that right now. It's not on what I'm working on my journey for me on that. If you want it, go enjoy. Thank you. Same as in finances. If, you're trying to save some money and not buy anything else, and somebody says, oh, let's come on, we'll go out to dinner tonight, go out to dinner tomorrow night, let's go and do this, go do that. Not that to not have fun, but if it's not in your budget that you've planned and what you're working on towards that goal of getting out of debt, so in time you will be able to have more fun, then just stand up and say, you know what? It's nothing against you guys right now. I just don't have that extra finances to go out as much, but I'd love to do at least maybe once a month. I budgeted it for that, and I would love us for doing that together. It is you taking control of what the situation is, by you taking charge of your life now and realizing that you can be the one in the driver's seat. You are the one who's in control. There is nothing holding you back. You're a big, strong woman. You're a big, strong elephant. And I don't mean that in any kind of derogatory way of elephant, but I mean big and strong, that an elephant is the most powerful animal out there. It is one that stays in a herd, that in my Facebook group it's a herd community, because they stay with other ones around them who support and take care of them. So that's what I would love for you to be. If you want to come join my Facebook community, I would love to have you part of that, where we're building that community, that herd, to realize that if you've got no one else supporting you, you've got us. You have to have those people around you to support you. And sometimes, again, it's not that close family or friend person who's doing it, because they only see you as you were and not as you're going to be, till you start really changing. It takes us ourselves 4 weeks or so, 21 days to start building a new habit before we even start to feel that we're making a change. It takes I think it's 8 weeks, double the time, for somebody else to start to realize that we're making changes physically, mentally, whatever it may be on that. And it takes a year before you actually start living it in and out of every day of your life. But the only way to start doing it is to start taking those action steps that you want to do. Start to really develop that skill, building those habits, And I love to teach you more about how to build different habits. I have done some other shows that we talked about different habits and how to build some. So please go back and look at any of them. If you want to work one-on-one with building something personally, I work. That's how I kind of work. That's my thing, is to help you find the tools that work best for you, because each one of us, to take charge of our lives, we learn differently. We find how to do things differently. Some people are more visual, some people are more reading it. So you have to find what works best for you to start making those changes to make them last. Because just as an when you're losing weight, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change you're making. Because if you do it as a diet, that means that in the short period of time you're going to eat this or only drink this or only do this. But when you stop doing it, do you gain all the weight back? Have you learned anything? If not, then it's a diet. If you're starting to learn how to change your way you're thinking of food or the way you're thinking of finances or money, while you're doing it, then you're starting to make a lifestyle change. And that is what we want to work on. We want to transform your life. The program that I work with on my coaching, on the digital part of it, it takes you through a year of transformation. We figure out where you are, where you want to go, start setting goals, and then continually go on your training with it. And I'm there as your accountability coach, if you like, on top of it. So with all of that being said, we want to start thinking, where do we want to go? What is our dream that we want to start doing? How do we start dreaming? That sometimes if you've been stuck so long, you don't even know how to start dreaming to take charge of your life. So you may have to even take a step back and say, open up your mind. Think, if there was no thing stopping me, not finances, not physical, not people around me, not anything, what would I would like to be? What would I like to say I'm doing? Where would I like to be in my life? What kind of impact or legacy do I want to leave? And then to start thinking of it. Start writing different things down. Start dreaming. And then if it's not scary, as we say in our community, is if you write down a goal and it doesn't scare you on how is that going to be done, then it's probably not big enough. It's probably not strong enough. And that you also then to find out why. Why do you want to make these changes? What is it that you can start to do that is going to say, okay, when all those roadblocks come into your way of having that cake or going out to that extra movie or watching that thing on television, that doesn't align with your faith, or when these things come in that are for your career, that your business you want to start doing, and you've got this hiccup or this roadblock that comes in your way, you need to have a strong why that you'd want to do it, so that you can rely on that you can go back and bring that up and say, I am doing this because I am worthy. This is what I want it for. This is why I'm doing it. And I'm not going to let others interrupt me, not take me off course, put me back behind my fence and put that blocker back in front of me. I know what it is. I understand I've blocked me before, but I also now know how I've knocked that picket down and I'm going forward. And till we start doing that day in, day out, and sometimes you might have to do it 20 times a day on thinking of what is blocking you, or things come up, but that's okay. It's the point of that you are realizing it is the first step. They say, we just did on a Bible study that we were talking about that, that we try to be so good and we try to do things, and sometimes our mind goes someplace different, or we let things get in our way of it. And it's the point of, we're not perfect and you're never going to be perfect on it. But the point of we were talking about is stop and say, God, this is not the way I want it to be. Give me the strength, give me the guidance to help me go where I want to go. Making that analogy or realizing that is the biggest part of it. That's the most exciting part of this journey, is because you realize you didn't have to stay or go down that rabbit hole. You realized, okay, this is happening. I'm starting to think this way. I'm starting to let this get in my path. I'm starting to let this slow me down, whatever this is, and saying, no more. I'm 10-1 in control. I broke free from that before, and I'm not going to let it bring me back. So taking that and going, okay, wait, take a deep breath, count to 10, and say, okay, God, I've got this. Can you give me the strength? Where do I need to go? What do I need to start to do? And start realizing you're worth taking that chance. That you're worth taking that chance, that you have it within you to achieve what you want when you put your mind to it and take the action steps and take charge. Is it going to be easy? No. Are you going to maybe step back a few times? Yes. But the point of the whole thing is don't permanently step backwards on there. Realize that if sometimes, something happens or somebody says something to you and you let it affect you on there, and it really affects you with some way or another, whatever situation happens, and you go withdrawal back in again, that's going to happen. Give yourself grace, but also realize you don't have to stay there. You don't have to be stuck there. There's no reason to anymore. So when we start thinking that way, we can start then planning what we want to do and say, it's okay, because I can do this, because I've got the tools, I've built the habits, I've built the inner strength, I've got my faith, I believe in myself, I believe I've been designed for good. And look in that mirror and look at that person in there and tell her, you've got this. You've got it in you. Just take the action steps and believe in yourself, and tell everyone else, sorry, go away if you have to. Or I've got thing for it. I've got more to me than I need to be. I want to be more than I am, and I am going to be that person. You can either support me or leave. And I know that sometimes seems harsh, but if somebody who really loves you, they're going to support you. When they don't support you, it's because they're afraid that they're not going to have the same control over you or the same part of your life, because you are now moving forward and they're stuck behind on it. But that's okay. That is their journey to be on their journey. You're on yours. So we want to really start thinking, what do we want to do with this journey? Where do we want to go? Start writing down some things that you want to start achieving in the key areas. What are some dreams that you have? Where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years? Where would you like to be? If you're not sure on even where you are in each one of those rankings, let me know. I have a personality test you can take, a life balance assessment test. We also have, you could try the program, and it walks you through it in depth for it. And I also do one-on-one coaching on the whole situation if you feel you need that more hands-on touch basis of it. So we want to take in this section, in this section of the UBU, we're already figured out where we were and what fences have been held us behind around us in section 1. We learned how to start recognizing them and calling them out and starting to work on knocking them down. And now we're looking at what is on the other side of that fence that we want to start achieving, and why do we want to start achieving it? What is our reason for wanting to do this? And the reason needs to start with for you. You're not doing it for anybody else. If you're saying that, you want to be a better mother or anything else, first be a better you, because when you're better you and take care of yourself, you will then be able to be a better mother. You cannot be a better person to somebody else if you're not a better person to yourself first. So with that being said, that's what we want to kind of work on this week. This episode is working on how to be a better person of ourselves, realizing it, and why and where do we want to start going. Until I see you next time, everyone have a blessed and fun day.